today I'm going to discuss about the Angular 7 CRUD operation. I will use Spring Boot and H2 database as backend. You know, H2 as a in-memory database. Uh, I will cover first the Angular 7. Okay. So CRUD operation, what do you mean by CRUD? Create, read, update, delete. So I will cover CRUD, that is create, create that is post operation, read that is get operation, and the delete operation. Okay. Update, actually as part of the delete, update will be coming. But basically update is more about the put operation. Okay. Let me discuss about how to create the project. Okay. Here for Angular, ng new, say application name router Ruby app, and I have to write yes for routing, since I have to use the routing concept in the Angular. Okay, and select CSS as the style sheet. Okay, so this is the application structure here. Here you see that component, okay, service and the model creation. So how will I create the component? NGGC registration one component, NGGC search delete. Here the search and delete operation both will be covered, and the service. Now NGGS user registration. This service, it will link to it Spring Boot. Okay. So to invoke service REST call, okay, HTTP client module, and I have to write the model. During post operation this model is used. Okay, in Spring Boot also we have the model, and in app.module.ts you see that the component which has been created, it is added automatically, but I have to add the form module as well as HTTP client module. Okay, HTTP client module is used for invoking that web service operation, and index.html you will see that auto-generated app root, and package.json you will see that Angular router, since it's a router application. Okay, and if you see that app-routing module.ts, you have to add the URL component. Okay, here is the routing, you have to add that. Okay, if it's just localhost 4200 redirect to register. Okay, and this register path is mapped with the component register component. Okay, this is the register component 1, and the search with the search delete component 2. app component HTML, it's automatically you will find that router outlet. So here that for router, since it's a router, we don't have to add the parent component or the child component. Okay, it's automatically mapped here. So this is the map here in the routes. All stuff at a glance. Okay, this is a register component, search component, and the app module TS. I have described the mapping URL and the component, and the app module TS here forms module and HTTP client module, and the HTML itself the router outlet, no parent component and need to add explicitly, and you have to add that I have added UserRegistration.ts, and later I have used in the component that for the operation in the post operation it's required here. So here you see the mapping name, email, experience, domain, all is the same name. Okay, except ID. Okay, ID is generated value from the H2 database. In the ID, funny thing is that there is a no setter method, because we are not giving the value ID. It is auto generated and only getter method. Okay, and index.html I have the app root, and package.json I have Angular router. Okay, so this is the concept, and app module.ts you see that form module and HTTP client module is included here. Now let me describe about the component wise. First, component and the HTML service. So overall, what are the component? Register component and the search delete component. Okay, so here I have already discussed regarding that app router model, and the component here is that the model, that user registration, right? User registration dot what I have written, name, email, experience, domain, which is just mapped with that Spring Boot application. Here I define it. Okay, user registrations, user registrations. Now constructor, I have just write that service 123 say service, and I connect to the service, that user registration service, and to use that model, right? So you are for do registrations. Okay, do registrations, it will connect with the model, enter data, right? When you are in the HTML itself, you are putting the data, it will come. So here is the name, email, experience, domains, it's coming in the user registration, right? This is the user registration model. This is the model. This is user registration model has been defined in the registration component. Okay, now here what you see, that when you are submitting register now, what it will do, it will that populate that model and pass it here. Okay, so this dot user register, so this will be populated when you are clicking on the register now. So all that value, name, email, experience, domain in that model. So where's that model? That model user registrations, which has been defined in the component, right? User registration component. So here register now, it will be invoked here, right? Register now, and this is getting passed here. Okay, so after passing here, so do registration, it will coming here, and it will passing to the Spring Boot application and finally getting response. Okay, so here you are passing that value, populating the model, passing the value and passing to the Spring Boot application, and finally getting response. Hi, that this is the response, and again this response. So I have given name as Iman. Iman saved successfully, and this name, it will be saved. Where it will going to be saved is the in the one variable, right? Is the message 123. This is also variable declared in the component .ts, where it has been declared message 123, right? So it has been declared here, and once it's successfully submitted, this is the two-way data binding. So it will be it's getting uh, updated with that value, right? So you will find that whatever the response from the Spring Boot, you will find in the HTML itself. So this is the way we update here. So, and this is also lambda in the Spring Boot, and this is the data binding. Now from the search component, if you search it, you will find that data also. Okay, now see that search component, how that data is coming, right? Here in the search component, here you will also find that it will invoke get users, right? What's the get users? You see that in the get users, find by user ID, right? Get users. So here service 123 get users, right? So first I am going to service 123, and in the service itself, let me check the service what is present here. Here is the get users, right? So in the get users, you will see that all users of Spring Boot has been invoked, right? So this has been invoked, and the list of the Angular users will see it. Okay, and this has been saved. This is that list of the Angular users, and this list will be converted to the JSON, and this JSONs you will see that response type, uh, you will see that response type as a JSON, so you will find that data. Okay, and if in the search itself, so here in the search component, here click on the search, say I am going to search by email here. Okay, I put that email, so find user ID in the component, and from the component it's going to service call, and from service itself is going to invoke that Spring Boot, and you will get the list of users and see the list of users, and it will be a list of data. It will be where it will store, it will store in that data 1 to 3, and the finally users Rabi 1 to 3. Okay, so here it will be storing it. Okay, uh, so in that model itself, here you see that model itself in the, when we click by that search, it's a model two-way data binding. In the email also there, so this HTML and this one is that variable, so this variable when we are searching is getting this variable. Okay, and it's going to search it, and finally hit that button, uh, find user by email ID, so click on the component to service, so finally hitting that one, uh, and get that response here. Okay, and for the delete component, what you see here, that for each row you will find that delete button. Okay, and for clicking it will invoke that delete users in the component, and from the component itself delete user by ID, and from their service it will invoke the Spring Boot, and it's invoke that cancel ID, and finally get the list, Angular list. Okay, so you will get that data 1 to 3, and you will get that response here, and the finally users Rabi, it will getting updated, and it will, you will get that response immediately. So entire CRUD after deleting also that row has been updated. So CRUD operation in Angular 7 has been completed here, and here you see that page is not like a professional. In the next tutorial I will cover that Bootstrap JS to make that uh, HTML pages with a more professional way and Angular flavor. Okay, thank you very much.